The day after the launching, he telephoned me to say, look here, do you realise that if you used your telescope as a radar, you could detect a carrier rocket? And there is no other instrument in the Western world that could detect the ballistic missile which launches a rocket. It's a moment of, I think, a moment in one's life which one never forgets, because it was that which made it possible to be here today.
But why was it so important to track not the Sputnik itself bleeping as it went round, but the ballistic missile?
The ballistic missile was expected to be, and indeed did become, a vital instrument of international warfare. And I said that, but I'm afraid we can tell you when they're launched, there's no problem, because we had one of the most powerful transmitters, well, certainly the most powerful transmitter in the world at that time. I said, well, then you can do nothing about it, neither can we. And he said, on the contrary, you'd give us 7 minutes warning before the missile descended on London, during which time we would have launched the whole of our bomber force.
So the Jodrell Bank telescope was in fact this country's early warning system against nuclear attack.
It's the Western world's early warning system.
Well, they were very dark times, and indeed went on to be dark times for you individually, because on a trip to Russia, as I understand it, they tried to make you defect.
I think I should have been prevented from going to the Soviet Union, because they obviously knew that we had been used as a defence centre. They tried to remove from my memory the fact that they'd taken me to their own defence nucleus on the Black Sea coast, because they didn't want news of what they had brought back to this country. I must say I was jolly thankful to see the lights of London on one return. Anyhow, it's true, I was ill for quite a long time, but I recovered.
But when you say you became ill coming back from that trip to Russia,
yeah.
And you think this was because something the Russians did?
Yeah, but it took me a month or so. I completely recovered. So.
But what did they do to actually make you feel ill?
I think they had an extremely powerful transmitter of the type that we've had on the telescope for planetary research, and the radiation from this telescope here was so dangerous that we would never use it below an elevation of about 15 degrees for endangering people's brains.
This is fairly sinister stuff, though, that you were there and then they made you ill.
It was a sinister time. And a lot of my compatriots who went to the Soviet Union in those days of early 1960s and so on never did return. Or when they did return, they never survived. Anyhow, I was really one of the fortunate ones. It remains an interesting memory. I have written a detailed memorandum of the whole of that visit and of my previous and subsequent visits to the Soviet, which is now in the John Rylands archive, and I've asked not to be published while I'm still living.